Let's talk about sex, baby.
I knew you were going to sing. I knew you would sing about that song. To just explore the whole area of sex, but not just the styles that we like, but also I find that sex is, for me, the highest form of communication. And I find it's a very spiritual act. And I think it will be also interesting to see how have we evolved with the whole topic of sexuality and of course other juicy stuff. I find juicy doesn't have to mean that it's not spiritual. I find that these two things can go together.
When we talk about sex in the sense of the act of being with somebody else and doing it with somebody else, then I can say that I haven't experienced that for some time now.
For me, I cannot be in a romantic relationship that has no sex in it.
But you can go for weeks without. And if your relationship is okay, in every sense, you still experience that person as an intimate partner. Or I would, without necessarily having sex. That doesn't mean that I don't like sex. I love sex. No, it's one of those things that really makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Sex, good food, and exercise. Those three things for me, if they happen in one
good
day,
food and music.
that's paradise for me.
I also absolutely need connection. I am also not a person who can have a one-night stand. I tried to have a one-night stand once. It was a nightmare.
And this is something I have only been able to do with myself.
You have to tell me how you're doing this. After these conversations, we are going to sit down somewhere. We are going to sit in a mukutano.
No, I'm
because
going to.
I don't think my body is even capable of that.
Oh, yes, one boy. Hello and welcome once again to your favorite conversations, From Home Diaspora Conversation. My name is Carol Brock, one of your hosts, and we are excited to have you here once again for a juicy conversation. But before we go on, we recognize our sponsors, TEDx Media, who have trusted us and have been with us all this time. You'll be hearing more about TEDx Media as we go on. And now to our topic for today, one boy.
So today, I feel like we've had a row of really interesting conversations in the last weeks.
Yes.
And today, again, we have decided to dare to have one of these conversations that we always want to have. And today, the time has come. We want to talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
I knew you were going to sing. I knew you would sing about that song.
It was really in my head the whole time.
Yeah, in my head too.
Yeah.
And we wanted to just explore the whole area of sex, but not just the styles that we like, but also I find that sex is, for me, the highest form of communication. And I find it's a very spiritual act. And I think it will be also interesting to see how have we evolved with the whole topic of sexuality and of course other juicy stuff. I find juicy doesn't have to mean that it's not spiritual. I find that these two things can go together. So we look forward to this conversation, and as usual, spread the message, subscribe, like, and if you like what we are saying, comment. This helps us as well to know that these conversations are arriving the way we need them to arrive.
Exactly.
So, Carol, we want to talk about sex.
Yes.
Maybe let's start with the simplest question of all. How is your sex life?
Interesting.
Okay. Fair
When we talk about sex in the sense of the act of being with somebody else and doing it with somebody else, then I can say that I haven't experienced that for some time now.
As a non-existent.
Non-existent.
Okay.
But there are other many forms of sexuality that that one can explore apart from being with somebody together. And we touched on this topic last week. If you had our conversation last week, if you didn't, go back to that one. It was also a fun one. We talked a bit about sex and how it affects our relationships. And I also have a question on you. And the question is, maybe you have answered that a while ago or just a second ago. How important is sex in a relationship?
Very important. Yeah, very important. For me, I cannot be in a romantic relationship that has no sex in it. I wouldn't know
What for?
what that actually.
What for? What are you for?
Yeah, I mean, all the other things I can find from other people. If it's intimacy, I find it's easier to be more intimate with women than with men. Even not that different.
Define that. How
Intimacy.
intimate?
Intimacy to me means being very honest about everything. You
Okay.
know, it's a soul thing. It's not. It's not body. I don't
Yeah.
see intimacy as a bodily action. I see intimacy in form of conversation.
Yeah.
But this is just me because, like I told you, for me, even sex is communication. For me,
Yeah.
everything is
It's
communication.
yeah.
So I mean intimacy in form of communication.
Okay.
And I find there are very many different kinds of people that I can have the things that a relationship will give. So for me, a relationship that has no sex would not be a romantic relationship for me. It will be a friendship.
That's true. The definition of a relationship in that sense,
Yeah.
it somehow has to include some aspect of sexuality.
Yeah. And for me, not just some aspect. For me, sex plays a very big role. I love sex. I want to have a lot of it a lot of times.
Okay.
I can't imagine unless I'm not in a relationship. But if I'm in a relationship and I'm not having sex with a person 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 year, I don't know. That would not make sense for me.
You wouldn't know why you
No. There would be definitely a problem.
Yeah, mostly when people are staying for very long periods without, there's mostly a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, definitely it will arise out of a problem. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying my partner will have caused a problem. I might be the problem.
Of course.
But either way,
regardless
there
of
will
where
be
that problem is
yes.
coming from. But I also sometimes think that when you're living with somebody which you're not doing, there comes a time when that aspect of sex as an act itself plays a role, yes, but you can go for weeks without. And if your relationship is okay, in every sense, you still experience that person as an intimate partner, or I would, without necessarily having sex.
I have lived with
The
a person for years.
The
though.
age, I'm talking now as an almost 44-year-old woman.
Okay, maybe that does change with time.
10, 12, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that was different. That was different. Of course, there is also the issue of kids. When kids come into the equation, a lot of things change.
Yeah.
And you stop prioritizing some things. So I can be okay with, just sleeping next to you, feeling you and really feeling you, even when we don't get into the act of sex. That doesn't mean that I don't like sex. I love sex. No, it's one of those things that really makes you feel good.
Yeah.
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 Sex, good food, and exercise. Those three things for me, if they happen in
sex,
one
good
day,
food and music.
that's paradise for me. Sex, good food, and exercise on one day.
Music.
Yeah, for you, it's music.
Okay.
For me, it's the other way. I
Full
exercise,
circle.
I eat, and then I have sex. That's the best day for me.
Full circle.
Yeah, full
I
circle.
get it.
Yeah. And that is something I feel like it's not happening at the moment, but I've had really good ones. Yeah.
So tell us, what was good sex for you, when you've had good sex, okay, you've already told us what precedes the actual act of sex, but how do you define good sex for yourself?
Good sex for me starts in the morning. Like, I have to have connection, some kind of intimate connection to somebody before I can have good sex with them.
Yeah.
So it's that thing of being in the feeling starting when we wake up. So when we wake up in the morning, we are already preparing for the sex in the evening. So it's how we are relating to it, even during the day, sending some nice messages. I can be naughty like that sometimes, some nice messages telling you what to expect in the evening, getting something back from you, not only me, getting something back. It can also, it can be a smiley that suggests something. And please, not the aubergine smiley, not that one. That's a bad one. That suggests only one thing. This thing.
Yeah. It's childish.
Yeah.
Those of my students will probably do that.
So
I get that.
that's not what I mean. I mean something that is suggestive, which we both understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Communication.
Yeah. And that is how it starts for me. And when we get to the evening, and I am already prepared in my head for that. So I'm not good at, I have never had a one night stand. I don't know if I can have that. Somebody I have no connection to. I'm not good at quickies. I could do it for somebody, but not for me, because you're finished before I have even started. My head has even
registered
started.
that we're having sex.
Happening.
Okay.
What was happening? Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So I need a lot of connection. I need a lot of preparing my head. And what I cannot do, and I'm sorry to anyone with whom I had sex in darkness, if any sex I have in darkness is not sex for me. I'm doing it for you, but not for myself.
Why?
Because I have to see you. I have to connect with you. I have to see your eyes. I cannot do it in darkness. It makes me, I need that connection. I need to look at you and know that you're with me here now.
Yeah.
And if I cannot feel that, if I cannot see you, I cannot have good sex. Yeah. I can have sex. That's not the question. Not good sex.
It's not gonna be good.
No. No.
Nice.
And what is important for you when it comes to?
For me, I also absolutely need connection. I am also not a person who can have a one night stand. I tried to have a one night stand once. It was a nightmare. I don't know. The whole thing was just crazy. I just saw him, the way he was removing his trousers. I was like removed from myself. I was just watching the whole of this process, and I knew not working. It does not work for me. And I also stopped trying because there's a time I used to put myself under pressure. Okay, you are this and this age. You should have done this and this.
You should have had a one night stand or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't work for me. And I also learned to say, sorry, this is not gonna work. I didn't know how to do that a long time ago, so I usually just went. I've stopped doing that. I've stopped just going like a past, like I'm now behaving like a normal human being and just saying, no, this will not work. And of course, I also don't put myself in a situation where I will have a one night stand. How? That doesn't happen accidentally. You must have agreed to some form of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's not something I do today. Good sex for me also starts with a lot of communication. I am also someone who can also text during the day. I can tell you what I'm thinking. I can tell you what I'm imagining. I can do all that. But I need connection. If I feel like I'm talking against the wall, then that goes away for me.
Yeah, of course.
I can lose my desire for sex as quickly as air. It doesn't, it's not something that disturbs me throughout the day. If I notice this is not happening, then it's not happening for me. And then it's going to take a lot of energy for it
To
to
get
come
into,
back,
yeah,
to get back into that desire for sex.
yeah.
Good sex also happens for me when I feel good about myself. That was a problem I used to have. I used to have very, very many issues with my breasts because I always thought
Ah,
they were too small to have sex.
okay.
And
Too
that
small to have sex.
I know. I always thought I don't know. They were just too tiny. I just thought
You just
they
had
needed to be
this thing of
different.
what is seen on what you think men desire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, anytime I have had men talking about beautiful women, it
Big
has always
breasts.
been with big boobs, big boobs, big ass. And I used to put myself under a lot of pressure because of my body. Actually, for me, what was really, really helpful was going to the sauna and seeing how many breasts are there in the world. There's so many
Different.
different
Yeah.
kinds of
Yeah.
breasts. That, by the way, sauna has been really very healing, not just physically, but also just mentally. Just seeing different bodies, and accepting my own. Definitely, the acceptance of my body has been a big one for me because if I'm not okay in my skin, I'm not going to have good sex.
That's true.
And like you
That's
said,
true.
I can have it for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's not going to be for me and it's not going to feel good. And unfortunately, when we are having sex for you, you will know. I am not a person who knows how to play.
I don't know if I don't know if everybody knows that one, boy. I don't
don't
know
think you
if
can mistake.
I think so.
Really?
Yes.
Then you must be very blind and very not in touch
Or
with yourself.
or maybe I am a good actress.
That's what I'm talking about. Maybe you can do that. I cannot act. I am like I cannot fake an orgasm. I cannot
What?
I cannot. I cannot do it. I cannot fake good sex.
Do I show you how?
How? Bring it on. How do you do it?
No. Go on.
Come on, do it. How do you do it?
No. It's okay.
I can't. I have tried. No. Even just when the thought crosses my mind to fake an orgasm, the sex is over for me. Not gonna happen.
There's no time you have had sex. You're there, and at some point you think, "Wow, this thing has to end now." And then it just okay, that is
Well, maybe a long time ago, like I said, right now I'm so in touch with my
yeah,
self.
not
I
right
can't.
now, not it
But
can
like maybe 10 years ago, when I was in the other relationship, there probably I faked sex, but
orgasm.
orgasm.
Yeah.
But I think the last 6 years, I have.
Wow.
I can't do it. Even the thought of faking sex is for me such a turn off. I just get dry instantly. It's just like, okay, we're done.
That's so good because
I don't
sometimes
know.
I was thinking of myself, I am this grown woman, and I consider myself very, I know what I want
Emancipated.
in my, but here I am faking.
Doesn't he notice?
No.
I think what really took it away from me was I dated a black guy. I think that was the one person I was very, very in love with. I think I don't think I had ever been so in love with a person.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's all for me. It was also the most difficult relationship to be in, and he felt it
When you faked, he felt it. He would feel it.
even before I faked. He felt
You're not in it.
when I was not in it,
Okay.
and so it was that would be insulting his intelligence. I felt I couldn't. I felt like I was being dishonest.
So can you say you have had more enjoyable sex with orgasms? Okay, before that,
Yeah.
can you have an orgasm if you're not really enjoying the sex?
No, I can't.
Okay. So can you say that you have had more orgasms during sex than not?
I
Because
only
fake is for you almost not
It's a no-go.
applicable.
But
So,
I say, like, I tell someone, I don't have to orgasm. It's okay. We don't have to take this to the point where because there are some people who put themselves under so much pressure.
yeah,
And the more you
that's
put
what I mean.
yourself under pressure and me under pressure to come, it's not gonna happen. So I've learned to tell people it's okay. You take this one. Run with it. Run with it. It's not gonna happen. Let's not force it. It's not gonna happen. And I know it. I feel my body just tells me. Even right when we begin, I know if I can orgasm or not.
Yeah, that one is the same for me.
Exactly.
I can tell in the beginning.
Yeah.
But what I can say, and maybe this is shameful, I've had more faked orgasms than real ones.
That makes me really sad.
Yeah, it is. And I started examining that really recently.
Oh.
Really.
Why though?
Why? Because maybe at some point in my life, at a point in my life, I learned that sex is something you use to make men happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I am doing this to make you happy. So let's get on with it. And then give me my hug after that.
I get it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in what comes after. More interested in what comes after. Not always. I've also had connections, really nice sexual connections. But for me, it has been more of, let's get on with it. You're there. No, not like that.
When I feel like that, not like that. When I start looking at my nails, I know this is over.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it makes me feel so bad. When I'm not having good sex, it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. I cannot take it. I feel like I'm abusing myself. I don't know.
It is abuse.
I
associate it. You're abusing yourself, definitely.
Yeah, but
not maybe abuse is too harsh.
Yeah, it's too harsh a word.
You don't respect yourself enough because you're just giving your body to somebody to enjoy.
Yeah.
And you're not in it.
Exactly.
You're not a part of it. You're not a part of that act.
And it's not freely given. I can also basically say, let's have sex for you. That's okay for me. I really, really don't mind that. I've had partners who told me, no, we're doing this for you. This is your day.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And that's totally okay. And if I can accept that, then I
should
also
be able
accept
to
the other way without
Yeah.
feeling abused.
Yeah.
But this one of, when will we finish?
Yeah.
When I start feeling that agitation, then for me, I know I have to stop it. I can't continue. It feels wrong.
Have you ever stopped somebody in the middle?
Yes, many times.
Okay.
Many, many times.
How? Stop. Now. Push.
No, not a push. I was like, sorry, it's not working.
Okay.
And the men I've been with are men who, if I tell them it's not working, I notice on their side, immediately stops working. It's because the men I've been with are men who only want to have sex when I want to have sex.
Okay.
And if I'm not feeling it, somehow they also stop feeling it.
Yeah.
And it's also the same way also for me. If I'm trying to have sex with a man who is so bored, so
it doesn't
make me feel good.
No.
It doesn't feel good. So I have told, and some of them were angry. But mostly I've had very positive experiences with that, actually. Mostly when I say, sorry, this is not working. Because especially for me, it starts getting painful.
Yeah,
it gets immediately painful. So I don't even have a choice of going on with it because it's just gonna be more and more painful. So actually, that's all I have to say. Sorry, it's getting painful.
I think that I haven't done that. I don't know, more than the one time I can remember. That was still in Kenya. It was just bad, We started and then it was so boring. It was just boring.
I get that.
And I was like, what is he doing?
Sometimes I also ask myself questions,
Yeah.
but
In the
I
whole
ask
time,
them, what are you doing?
no, I asked myself because what is he doing? And then
Yeah.
it went on and on and on.
Oh dear.
And this guy is there sweating and,
Oh dear.
giving his all. And I'm like, what is this guy doing?
He's giving his all. Oh no, no.
And I just turned, and
Yeah.
it was just, I think that is the one time that I was like that. And at some point I got angry. I get angry really fast because when I'm thinking, hey,
Finish.
how long are we still?
Let's get it on.
Yeah. And nothing is changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's of course, I've not had like that one in a long time. The ones I've been in, it's mostly I started well, then at some point or in the beginning I realized we are not going anywhere with this. So I fake quickly. So
oh wow.
and I'm sorry, I'm not saying with whom, because I've also said I've had good ones.
But then that leaves a question in my head. What kind of orgasm are you talking about? Because for me, an orgasm while having sex, while having penetrational sex, that rarely happens.
That is exactly what I mean.
That rarely happens. For me, when I say orgasm, I mean clitoral orgasm.
Yes.
That's what prepares me for my body for sex.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Vaginal orgasm happens.
That is the smallest number of women will have sex during a penetrative kind of sex. Yeah.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But I
but
cannot
control it. The preparation has to be before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you consciously remember around what age you got your first orgasm, or when?
My first orgasm at all. With a person or with myself?
Whatever the longest.
With myself, I think I was in high school when I discovered masturbation. I must have been 16, I think. I don't know. 16, that age. 15, 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because mine was not during masturbation. It was just something I felt. I woke up with this nice feeling that I did not know how did this feeling come. And the minute you wake up, it's the end almost. And you want to go back to that experience. You don't know how, because you don't know what happened. You just wake up and find yourself feeling good.
Elated.
Yeah.
I had that too. I think that was my first orgasm.
Yeah. Without being touched, it's just...
Yeah.
I think that's what with men it's called wet dreams.
Equivalent of a wet dream.
Yeah. You just wake up and I was struggling after that, go back to sleep, get this experience again.
Get back that experience.
But you cannot get back to that because it's gone.
Yeah.
And also trying to think, what was I dreaming about?
Yeah.
What happened? And sometimes you're dreaming about lions chasing each other. And that is so much adrenaline for the body. It's so exciting for the body that you come out where the lion reaches the point where it's almost eating you. That's when you orgasm.
You are strange. You are strange. I don't think this is how it was for me, guys. This is Caro, yeah? This is not, I don't orgasm when I'm in danger. No. But yeah, I think it happened to me the same way as well.
Here is a quick one to tell you about our sponsors, TDX Media. I've been working with TDX Media for about 5 years now, and this has saved my life, literally saved my life. TDX Media has a way of helping you to optimize your office work. So I am a very chaotic person. My office was looking like you can imagine it. And then TDX Media came and they really helped me to optimize the processes, especially the processes of how I work, what should happen when they came and advised me. They came and sorted out most of, most of my files and all that, because I am not that. And then my website, it's beautiful because it is being maintained, it is being serviced by TDEX Media. And then the CEO of the company, Christian Tiedemann, who does all that, comes to you, advises you, he talks to you, he listens to you, listens to your needs, and then crafts everything according to how you need it, but adding his professionalism in everything that he does, such that at the end of it all, and he will not use anything he doesn't think is okay for the person visiting your website. So if your photos are not good enough, then he'll not put them in. And that is the level of professionalism that I need when I'm working with someone, so that they just don't do everything I tell them to do. They tell me, okay, it's your website, but it has my name on it. So he will not do anything that is not professional enough. And the other thing is event management. Guys, these guys are so organized. TDEX Media is so organized. They have taken control and over. They organize our African festival, which happens every year. So I have nothing to do with it. The first year I organized it myself. I almost went crazy. And nowadays I just get calls, or when we're talking, it's a yes, no, no, and I have nothing to do with it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love working with these people. I love the way they, present themselves in a way that is, I will talk about professionalism the whole time, because that is what they are. They are professionals. And you see that in everything they do. When they're doing consultations with you, they are very specific in everything that they're doing. You can only be satisfied when you're working with TDEX Media. And I'm so glad that I have trusted us now to sponsor our podcast. And I've been working with them all this time, satisfied with their work. I'll continue working with them. So please visit their website, www.tidix.de. That's www.tidexx.de. Visit them, because you'll be doing yourself a favor. Thank you so much.
And I remember instinctively feeling I had done something wrong.
Oh,
Yeah. And I don't know why. I felt like I hope.
it's a sin.
Yeah.
I hope
I hope
nobody.
nobody saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, I can't remember feeling any shame. I just remember feeling good and thinking, oh, I want more of this. How can I get more of this? I want to go back to
I think that's
sleep.
the whole point of an orgasm. You want to
Yeah.
have more of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I knew that, and at some point I knew this was something sexual, I hardly ever got that in a relationship or with men.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I was for a very long time associating with sleep and waking up feeling like that.
Ah.
I
That's
did not
interesting.
know how you're supposed to feel when you sleep with a man.
Ah.
Because for the longest time, I did not feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not know what an orgasm
Feels
was.
like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I always knew how it felt. I think I knew this is an orgasm. And I think I knew this is how it's supposed to feel. I don't know how. Maybe from books I had read, or just the same way I
Meals and
know this
bones.
food is
Meals and
delicious.
bones.
Yeah, this is what I grew up with.
Yeah,
I grew up
yeah.
reading them, hiding under the desk and reading those
Because
books.
you are not
It was
allowed
like,
to.
oh, there was this dude who had muscles and he was riding on a horse, and there was this woman with big boobs.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely. Yeah.
so that was the crush with my sexuality always.
Yeah.
But I think for me, sexuality, I think I can say I've had very, very good sex in my life. Not too much of it, but because
Good.
for me it's
Quality.
because I've told you many times I cannot multitask.
Yes. One boy cannot multitask.
And this is true. This is really,
sometimes
really
so-
true. Yeah. So, and that means that I can single task very effectively, very intensively. This also includes sexuality. When I'm having sex, I'm having sex.
Okay.
I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about whatever. I'm not thinking about nothing. I cannot think about anything else during sex. As soon as, as I start thinking about the curtains,
Then
you
you're
know for
done.
sure sex is over. It's gone.
Okay. I can multitask.
I know.
I can
I've
think
seen you
about
doing it.
I can think about my account while
Oh,
No.
if my account comes to mind, Casper gets
You're done.
I'm done.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting how when we are now talking and like I said, I started thinking about this not long ago because I am able to give myself really good orgasms. Multiple. Sometimes I
Wow.
just
I can't do
which
that.
I have never, I think, had with a man.
How are you doing the multiple ones?
7, 8, 9.
What?
Yes.
How are you doing this? You have to tell me how you're
That's
doing
why
this.
I was saying on TikTok, my finger is tired, and you were just asking me from what?
No, wait. How can you have 7 orgasms?
Yes, it's possible. And this is something I have only been able to do with myself.
You have to tell me how you're doing this. After these conversations, we are going to sit down somewhere. We are going to sit in a mukutano.
No, I'm
because
going to.
I don't think my body is even capable of that.
Oh, yes, one boy.
It is.
Yes.
Because one orgasm knocks me out. I can't have 10. I'm going to die. I can't. I don't know. It must be very exhausting.
At some point, I just
Yeah.
stop because it gets too exhausting.
Too much.
Yeah. But
I
not
think
because
for me
I
that
cannot.
only happens if there's squirting, for example. That's a vaginal orgasm that I get once in a while. But clitoral orgasm, it's a one time deal until 3 hours later. You know, it can't
Wow.
happen 7 times. Mm-mm. Not even twice. Mm-mm.
Not even twice?
No, I've never had that.
But even the times I've had, even with men, when I had the orgasms, it was always a minimum of 2, but not a
Wow.
maximum of 7. 2, 3,
Wow.
2, 3, yeah.
No, that
But
doesn't
with
happen to me.
myself, I think the best I had was about 8.
Wow. No, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And
No,
maybe our
we
listeners,
have
you
different
have
bodies.
to let us
We have
know.
different bodies.
No, yeah, but sometimes you need to know things. You know, sometimes you just don't know things. You just were
Sometimes you need a
sleepwalking.
Tisha.
And you're like, aha. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know that. So,
Yeah,
Kara and I
okay.
are going for Mkutano.
Yes. It's some of the tips you might get at some point here. I'm not saying that I am now
You are the
the
teacher.
sex teacher. No, but it works for me.
Crazy.
It works really well.
That is really, really interesting.
Yeah. Is there something you feel like you would, at your age now, the point you've come to, having had all this good sex that you've had, that maybe you'd want to try? Is there something you still feel like that would be nice? If I would be granted a wish, and my partner would be somebody who's open to something different, what would it be? Maybe being strapped on the bed.
Nah. Nah. I want my freedom. I want to know I can run if I need to run. If you strap me anywhere, no
gone.
sex happening. You know, I feel like a child. I run inside myself,
But
and I get very scared.
That's what these people need. I don't know what somebody would need with that, but it could be. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I've tried to do every form of sex that I ever wanted to have.
Really?
There's nothing. There's a time I used to think I am adventurous, but I find I'm not. I mean, I've had sex in the forest, I've had sex in the car, you know. There's a time I thought I wanted to have sex in a plane, but I realized those things are so small. I don't want it.
You can't.
I want to have good sex. And for me, good sex is when I'm somewhere feeling very safe.
Yeah.
I have to feel safe. So there's a time I used to think I would want threesome. I realized I don't want that.
How would that time you wanted? How would it have looked like? Two
Uh,
women,
Whichever, two of
just
something, two men or two women. It was
okay.
just an imagination. I know today I will really hate it. I think I will just stand there and look. I don't think I will be able to participate.
Maybe
I
that's
don't
also
know.
exciting.
No,
You
it's
don't know.
not. I find looking at people having sex quite disgusting, actually.
Ah, okay.
I don't want
So that
it.
means you would not watch a porn.
I don't like it. I have watched porn, but every time I've watched porn, and this is rare, it leaves me with that. It doesn't leave me horny. It fills me with that, a feeling at my
As
throat.
disgust, some kind of a.
I don't like seeing the wetness of other people. I don't know. It's not
not
nice.
very.
It's not really. It's not beautiful. Sex is not beautiful. It's
And there are people who go. We were in Amsterdam, and there are people who pay to go in to watch. And this is real people. I know when I saw that, I was thinking, this is like hell. Like there's somewhere you pay to come in, watch live, people having sex live. And the queue was until I don't know where. People lining up to see act after act after act of live sex.
Of just sex.
Yes.
I mean, where is
the fun in that?
Where is the fun?
Yeah.
I really don't see. And this is, by the way, this is not me judging porn or saying it's wrong or bad or whatever. This is me actually not seeing the fun. I don't find it interesting.
Yeah. That's exactly how I think.
Yeah. In fact, I find it more interesting to see women touching themselves when they are alone. That I don't find disgusting. Than this, I don't know, the whole thing of.
And especially when it comes to porn, it's more this men dominated.
Yes. And that scares me.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's more the fun of this man. And it ends with him ejaculating.
All over her.
It was.
Like, why would you want to have sperms on your breasts? I don't get it. I don't find it nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
It's disgusting. Why would you watch that?
It's a bit. It might be really nice for some people, and I've had couples who watch together. I'd rather do the act than watch people.
Me too.
Some get into that feeling after watching whatever, but that's not really for me. The thrift something, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
With two men or two women? You and another woman, of course.
You mean it's my? You mean my boyfriend?
Your imagination of
my imagination of. I still see two men on a woman as something that is so dominating. I don't know why. I have that feeling of
unsafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would feel safer with a woman.
Yeah.
Than with a man.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
I don't know, but that's my feeling. It's not a wish I have.
What are your wishes?
I would try it. I don't know. I feel like I'm open for anything. Not necessarily that I've had it in my mind, but if my partner, for example, because what I'm coming to really appreciate and also want to integrate into my life is when I get a partner at some point, I want us to freely be talking about sex and tell me your fantasies, tell me what you'd want to try out, because this is a thing that makes also many relationships break.
Yeah. They're looking for
because
something that you cannot give.
Missionary every night. And
that's boring.
At some point you feel like, I want to try doggy or anything else.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't know if you can ask for that. And I would like to have a very honest conversation with somebody about sex, for them to tell me I would like to try this. There are some things that are no-goes for me, but something like a threesome, I would say, yeah, okay.
If threesome is okay for you, what's a no-go?
And also, for example,
Okay.
such things.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
I would
That's
never
also an
do
absolute
that.
no-go
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. And some other kinky things, being tied, pain is something I cannot have. And there are some people who like that. When you see some men who slap you, and I cannot have pain during
And sex. Yeah.
I remember after I got my son, he used to bite my nipples so badly. They were bleeding, and it is so sensitive.
Pain.
And I became so sensitive that if I am with a man now, every time they go on my breast,
You flinch.
yeah. And I have to really, really, really trust you.
Yeah.
Because it happened once that somebody accidentally went with their teeth. Accidentally. It was not intentional inflicting pain. And I was like, done. And it took me months before I could allow this person to even touch my breasts.
Wow.
Because this experience that I had with, it was really bad. So I cannot have pain. That's a really no-go for me.
Yeah. I also can't have dominance.
Yeah, dominance.
That as soon as I feel it, those are the times when I would fake, because when I feel dominance, I feel powerless. I immediately feel powerless, and so I will just be there, non-reactive. I can't. It's today I notice it, but there's a time I was just like, okay, you do whatever, But now, especially being very aware of my past and healing trauma, I am very aware of that. That's why I know dominance and sex, for me, that doesn't work. I know there are women who like it. I'm not that woman.
No,
I don't like it. I don't see the sense. For me, it doesn't feel good.
No, I also don't see the sense in that.
Yeah.
It's in this. We can play games if you want us to play games, but I also don't know if I want to play a game where you're pretending I'm somebody else. I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah, like why?
Wear a blonde.
Like
So
why?
it's me with my dark skin wearing a blonde wig.
That's very strange.
That's strange.
Don't do that.
I don't know why you want to imagine I'm somebody else for you to have sex with me.
Yeah, that is disturbing, isn't it?
It's a bit disturbing. Because it will disturb me even after that. I was like thinking, does he wish maybe to have somebody else?
That's the kind of a film I'll have in my head as well. Yeah.
So you'd rather tell me you want to invite somebody else. And I also don't, I'm saying that very freely now, as if I don't know how I would feel.
Yeah.
If my boyfriend was there,
Yeah.
having sex with somebody else, and I see them enjoying it.
Where are the knives? He's got some knives out.
We don't. I think I don't have. I think I don't know. I don't think. Actually, when I think about it deeply, I think that would disturb me.
So, would you allow your partner now, if you have been together for decades and your sex life is basically non-existent, will it be okay for you if your partner went and had sex with another person without you being there?
I think I'd have some difficulties. I would want us to talk about it if he wishes, but then I would want to know why. And if there's a really valid reason, like wanting to try out, if there was, you can be in a relationship where you trust each other so much, and this person is not lying to me. Be so in sync with somebody, and they say, I would like to try something. That doesn't mean I'm leaving you or our relationship is not okay. maybe I would consider that, but I don't know. It feels strange to me. It feels very, very strange. I don't think I have to be, those are things, those are the bridges you cross when you get to them.
There.
I cannot decide now how I would feel about that. Because I know there is a lady whose boyfriend at some point said they wanted to see how it would be to be with a man. This is something they have always thought about. And they just want to try it out to know how it is. And she was like, okay, go ahead. I don't know if she said yes because there was no threat.
Because
Like,
he's a man.
like it's a man, so go ahead. But then it could be that he goes there and thinks,
Discovers himself anew.
yeah, which is also okay because you don't want to hold somebody captive but I think that's difficult. That would be, but I want the next relationship I'll have, I want to talk about these things very, very openly. And if it is somebody who cannot talk about sex, because there are people who cannot do that, I cannot be with them because I want to be very, especially when you come to this age like me now, heading to menopause, where I am not the way I used to be with 20 and 30. If you're with the same person who knew you during your hot years, like when, you could go on and on like Energizer batteries, then then they know you. And then when it doesn't function like that at some point, they understand it's the age.
Like,
but if you're meeting somebody now, there's a lot of communication to do because it's not the way it was.
Yeah.
And just the fact that during this time, your body is working differently during menopause and all that. You have to do a lot of communication. So I want to be with somebody with whom I can have these honest conversations with. And what I really find interesting nowadays is, and I would really love to explore that more, is tantric sex. Just having this spiritual kind of togetherness without necessarily having any kind of penetration and without necessarily having to think of an orgasm as the
End result.
seal. The what is it called in English? Jesus.
Crown.
Yeah. Finish line. Yeah.
So how do you exercise sex without penetration and without orgasm? How are you doing it?
A lot of exploring your body.
The other person exploring your body or you exploring your own body?
First of all, you have to be in sync with your own body. You have to know what excites you. So there has to be you have to be so in touch with your own body. And then the next step is then knowing your partner and exploring each other's body. And you do that without the intention of having penetration at the end. Yeah. Or even orgasm. It's just touching each other. I had that and it was one of the best things I can. It's also a form of sex. You call it sex, but it's not. Because normally when we talk about sex, it's mostly about penetration.
Yeah.
Which is, I've come now to know that is not the only and better way to have sex.
No.
Yeah.
It's not the one that feels best.
No, not for women.
Not for me, at least. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So that's something I would really love to explore a lot of.
I was with a partner who was really, and I will be forever grateful to him because he was very, very open about sexuality, and he's also the one who used to introduce me to such things as tantric sex. And he used to even go to workshops about sex,
That one I would do with my partner.
Me too. Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Those are things I would actually love to explore.
Yeah.
Like get into the mind.
Yes.
And get into, let's talk and learn about it.
Yes.
I think those are things I will really be interested in. Also in a very spiritual level because like I said, I believe sex is the highest form of communication and it's very, very spiritual. That's why it's either so damaging or done right. It's the most ecstatic thing that you can do. It's the only thing. Okay, it's not the only thing, but it's the one thing that sure surely removes you from this world, even if it's just for a moment.
That's true. That's
So
true. Yeah.
I think it's such a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And I wish I would also find partners who are ready to
To
explore
explore
that.
that to its
Yes.
entirety. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
something I wish
Yeah.
for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's now something I'm so conscious about
Mm-hmm.
the next person I'll be with.
Mm-hmm.
So I will look for somebody who is interested in such things.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to have that kind of a conversation even on a first date.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not getting any younger. So if not, it's not the only thing, but it has to be a part of.
It has to be just like
part of-
money has to be a part of the
Yes,
conversation.
exactly.
It has to be. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
also really learned to talk about sex. I constantly also ask my current partner, is there any sexual wish that you have currently
Yeah.
that you would like to explore that we haven't done yet?
Yeah.
And of course, it's not always easy to say, you know what, this is what I want, or you know what, this is very boring. But I find the more because of course I would want to have a partner who does A, B, C, D, but I think in everything you have to be the first. You have to be the starter of the things that you need.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to learn that if I need this in a relationship, I must then ask for it. And I've had partners who have told me things like, I wish you would initiate sex more. And I realize this is something that I find very, very hard to do.
Okay.
I can initiate sex writing, but I find it very hard to initiate sex physically. I have to really tell myself, okay, now I get in the head. It doesn't happen automatically for me. It's something I have to practice with.
Yeah.
As well, I appreciate people who tell me, I wish you would do this. I wish you would be less of this and this and try more of this. So I actually ask, is there anything else you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes people feel the trust enough to say, but there are, as you say, many people who are not there yet, not ready to have this conversation.
I think I don't have a problem with initiation. I can do that well. I can initiate, and especially also, like I said, starting in the morning and also telling you, what to expect today, and I can talk about that. And even when it comes to evening or wherever, it's not only evening that sex happens.
What?
It can also happen during the day, not only in the darkness. Yeah, I can initiate that really well, and that's the other thing. I think before we finish this conversation is gadgets.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself with that?
I buy them. I have no problem with buying sex toys.
Okay.
I just don't always like using them.
Okay.
It's very mechanical for me. I need connection. And of course, when I use them, I will have a very quick orgasm, but it's never gonna feel the way it feels when I'm having sex with someone else, or even when I'm just touching myself with my own hands.
Yeah.
It has a totally different quality.
It's different, yeah.
But I love the whole thing of going to a sex shop, exploring and thinking, oh, let me buy this one for so and so. I just like it, I love asking myself, hey, where do you put this, Where is it supposed to go? I love it. Really, I just love it. I find it so interesting. Yeah.
The first time I was in a sex shop, I was so shocked. I was going through there thinking, oh my God, what is that? I'm not really comfortable with, I've never bought myself one.
What?
No.
That's a trip we are taking. We are going to Hamburg. We are going to Hamburg, and you're going to buy something.
The first one was from a boyfriend, and the second one was from a girlfriend who thought I really need it. Who thought I should give my finger a break.
Yeah, we went to complain about your fingers. What do you expect friends to do?
That is what friends are for. I'm
Amen.
not saying which friend that is, but you can already guess for somebody who says they like doing that. But it's cold.
Yes.
I cannot have fun with it. I'm sorry, but it's just no.
It's not a person.
It doesn't excite me.
It's not a person.
Even if it vibrates, I can also vibrate.
I wonder, I'll just put a camera in your room, Carol. I'll just put a camera so I can just see what the crazy things you do.
I think you don't want to see.
Oh, God.
You can vibrate.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not really, but yeah. This has been a fun conversation.
It has been. It has
And I don't think we are finished, but we have to end it here.
Yeah, we'll come back with
still
part 2 and 3.
Yeah. Tell us what you want to hear from us. We speak
Yeah.
about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also wanted, which we did not do, but I think we'll talk about children in another conversation. Having this conversation with your kids about sex, because I do that. I speak to my children about, we'll have that conversation.
We need to.
Yeah, we will have that. So thank you so much. Thank you for this time. I hope you've had as much fun with us
I think so.
as we've had with each other here.
Yeah.
It's never boring with us. I think
Nah.
these are the kinds of conversations we have normally. So
Yeah.
that's why it's easy for us to have them even here in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Have a good week.
See you next week.
Bye.
We appreciate you. Subscribe, comment, like, share. Let's
Share with your
people
friends.
hear this
Share
juicy
with-
things.
Okay, bye, guys. Bye.